Well, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. So you know what kind of day I'm having. I started out my day by spilling coffee on my computer. Yeah. Which is now on its way to who God knows where to be repaired. Not to Starbucks. On an unrelated note, none of the technology in here is currently working to screen a movie. And we have been here for an hour and 15 minutes, an hour and a half trying to get this to work. I am awfully sorry. The DVD player is on the fritz. There's no movie. So unless you want me to act it out, I can pantomime it for you. I'm sorry you're disappointed, yes. You know, that's not a bad idea. Yes, we can do that. We can show it there. That'll work. All right, you know what we'll do? We'll punt a little bit. We can't show it on the giant screen is the problem. We can, however, show it on a TV set. It will not have any subtitles or anything, as far as I can tell. Although we may be able to get the closed caption to work. So for those of you who are watching at home, you're the lucky ones, because all you have to do is go below the YouTube video that you're currently watching, and there's a link to it at the U.S. Holocaust Memorial site. So you can watch it at home in your pajamas very easily. Unfortunately, we can't get this technology to work tonight. We don't know why. It may be that my computer is perfectly set up for it. I'm sorry. Normally I would take that call because it's my kid, but you know, I'm committed to you guys 1 hour a week, so. So what we'll do is, after this, we were planning to take a 5-minute break anyway. We will set it up on the TV set in the family room, so you can grab something to drink or eat. You won't be able to see it so well as you would have on the large screen, but we can make it work. And that's why Melanie's with us, because she's a freaking genius. Because all night long I didn't think of that one. This is, of course, it's a somber and more serious evening, and we do want to enter into the correct mood for it. We'll have this short service now. We have a few special elements in it. I'm going to punt and just call on someone to light candles. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. And we're going to begin our service in just a moment. Our readers are Melanie Goldberg, Judy Bobrow, so nice to see you, Susie Friedman, And special readers tonight, Berta and Jessica Gardone for one of our readings for the Shoah. So we will begin our Shabbat service on slide number 1, if you will, Arthur. As the sun descends and the shadows lengthen, the distractions of the day give way to the stillness of night. It is time now for us to see, not with our eyes, but with our hearts and minds, as the day gives way to evening. It is time for us to welcome Shabbat. I'd like to invite Beth and Natan to light the candles. You knew I was looking at you. No, do it from the floor. It's set up for the floor. Baruch haor ba'olam, Baruch haor ba'adam, Baruch haor ba'shalom, Baruch haor, Baruch haor b'shapat. You are a genius.
Thank you. Countless generations of Jews honored the Sabbath day. In dark times, it was a refuge for them, and in times of prosperity, it gave them rest and joy. As a community, we celebrate the opportunity to gather in that spirit, even as we imagine Shabbat anew. May we too find rest from the day's work and refuge from our cares. May we too feel the warmth of love and companionship. May we too feel our joys heightened and our sorrows softened by the love we give and receive. May we be blessed with Shabbat joy. May we be blessed with Shabbat peace. May we be blessed with Shabbat light.
Shalom Aleichem, Ohavei HaShalom, Shomrei Shalom. Shalom Aleichem, Rodefei HaShalom, Shalom Aleichem. Boachem LeShalom, Ohavei HaShalom, Seitchem LeShalom. Miyom zeh layamim habaim, Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Ohavei HaShalom, Shomrei Shalom. Shalom Aleichem, Rodefei HaShalom, Shalom Aleichem. Judy.
Loving life and its mystery with all my heart and all my spirit, with all my senses and all my strength, I take upon myself these promises: to care for the earth and all who live in it, to pursue justice and peace, to love kindness and compassion. I will teach these to my children throughout the day, as I dwell in my home and as I go on my journey, from the time I rise up until I fall asleep.
Ori, ori, bi. kochi, kochi bi vegamba, vegamba. Eifo kochi, kochi bi vegamba, vegamba. Where is my light? My light is in me. Where is my hope? My hope is in me. Where is my strength? My strength is in me and in you, and in you. Where is my strength? My strength is in me and in you, and in you.
When justice burns within us like a flaming fire, when love evokes willing sacrifice from us, when, to the last full measure of selfless devotion, we demonstrate our belief in the ultimate triumph and truth and righteousness, then goodness encompasses our lives and we can begin to change the world. Na'aseh shalom, shalom ba'olam. Na'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam ve'imru shalom. Na'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam ve'imru shalom. Na'aseh shalom, shalom ba'olam. Na'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam ve'imru shalom. In this community where we find strength and common purpose, we turn our minds and hearts toward all those who need our love and support, those who are ill, those who suffer pain of the body or spirit, those who are ill, those who are lonely, those who have been wronged. Tonight, our well wishes are extended to these members of our community and to their loved ones, to Ruthie Goldman, Ruth Moltz, Rabbi Peter Schweitzer. And if there's someone whom you're thinking about tonight, please feel free to share their names. We'll go around the room. Anybody on this side? No? Anybody over here? Jessica? Thank you. Anybody we missed? May all who suffer know that they are not alone. We are there. May they be healed quickly. May they experience a complete recovery, refuah shlema, the renewal of their bodies and the renewal of their spirits. Mekom hakoach betocheinu, mekorot habracha michevroteinu. May the source of strength that dwells so deep within us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Shalom. Mekom hakoach betocheinu, mekorot habracha michevroteinu. May those in need of healing know refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Shalom. We pause on this Shabbat to remember the time of horror, to mourn our dead, to reflect on the innocence and courage of the martyrs. And we pause to reassert our commitment to a world where all people will live together in peace and justice, with kindness, compassion, and charity, and with mercy and love. We commemorate the deaths of our 6 million sisters and brothers. We honor and remember all of the murdered, Jews and others, victims, martyrs, heroes. We honor those who died because they were Jews. We honor those who died because they helped Jews. We honor those who died because they resisted. We honor those who died for their convictions. We honor those who died simply because the death machine decreed that they must perish. In beloved memory of those whom the evil one sent to their deaths by starvation, by torture, by bullet, and by gas, we now light a memorial candle to bear witness and testimony to all that they were and all that was lost. I'd like to invite at this time Renee Lichtman, Berta Gardone, and Jessica Gardone to light this candle. I think I'll need to get another match for that. Do we have one there? We do. It's all three of us light together. Thank you.
אשרי הגפרור שנשרף והצית להבות, אשרי הלהבה ברא בסתרי לבבות, אשרי הלבבות שידעו לחדול בכבוד, אשרי הפור שנשרף והצית להבות.
This is a poem by Chaim Guri that recalls the sacrifice, near sacrifice, of Isaac by Abraham. The ram came last of all, and Abraham did not know that it came to answer the boy's question, first of his strength, when his day was on the wane. The old man raised his head, seeing that it was no dream, and that the angel stood there. The knife slipped from his hand. The boy, released from his bonds, saw his father's back. Isaac, as the story goes, was not sacrificed. He lived for many years, saw what pleasure had to offer, until his eyesight dimmed. But he bequeathed that hour to his offspring. We, are born with a knife in our hearts. Here, you can use the microphone right there. It's easier.
I Shall Betray by Marion Cohen. I shall betray, but tomorrow, not today. Pull out my fingernails today. I won't betray. You don't know the limits of my courage. I do. Your 5 hands with rings. On your feet are shoes with spikes. I will betray tomorrow, not today. I need a night to make up my mind.
I need at last one night to renounce my friends, to give up bread and wine, to betray life, to die. I'll betray tomorrow, not today. The file is under the stone floor. The file is not for the cell door. The file is not for my executioner. The file is to slit my wrist. Today, I have nothing more to say. Tomorrow, I'll betray.
This poem that you just heard was written by a member of the Resistance, Marianne Cohen. The poem was found in her cell. The song that we're about to hear was written by a 17-year-old, Pavel Friedman, in the Theresienstadt ghetto. He would be murdered subsequently in Auschwitz in September of 1944.
The very last, so richly, brightly, dazzling yellow. Perhaps if the sun's tears could sing against a white stone, such a yellow is carried lightly way up high. It went away, I'm sure, because it wished to kiss the world goodbye. The very last, so richly, brightly, dazzling yellow. Perhaps if the sun's tears could sing against a white stone. For 7 weeks I've lived in here, pent up inside this ghetto. But I have found my people here. The dandelions called to me, and the white chestnut candles in the court. Only I never saw another butterfly. The very last, so richly, brightly, dazzling yellow. Perhaps if the sun's tears could sing against a white stone, that butterfly was the last one. Butterflies don't live in here.
If you read my commentary this week, and if you didn't, it's still on our newsletter, which you can find on our website. you'll understand the significance of this piece that I wrote. It's based upon the traditional El Malei Rachamim, God who is filled with mercy, a prayer that is said at every funeral and a version of which is said at almost every Holocaust memorial service that I've ever attended. As I mentioned in the commentary, while I disagree with the theology, if you will, of the regular version, I find the one that is said for Holocaust victims actually repulsive, because it calls upon us to imagine something that cannot be, and I think in doing so betrays the memory. So I wrote this for humanists. We pray no more to one who is filled with mercy. There is no shelter for those whom we have lost under divine wings. Mercy is for the living. For those who were slaughtered, there is only memory. May we preserve this precious ember. May it never depart the psyche of our people or of humanity. For there is no heavenly master of mercy on whom we can prevail to shelter them forever. They are gone. They do not rest in peace. They shall not return. All that remain are lessons that we can take from the conflagration that robbed them of the possibility of sweet and pleasant lives. May these lessons be bound up with us forever, teaching us to become masters of mercy, such that we honor their memory with this oath: never again, not for our people, nor any other. We continue with this beautiful song by Chana Senesh, a resistance fighter who died in a mission in Czechoslovakia. Yesh Kochavim. יש כוכבים שאורם מגיע ארצה, רק כאשר הם עצמם עבדו ואינם. יש אנשים שזיו זכרם מאיר כאשר הם אינם יותר בתוכנו. המבהיקים חלילה, הם שמראים לאדם את הדרך, את הדרך. הם שמראים לאדם את הדרך. There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light. Long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us as we live our days. These are the ways we remember. We remember
as we live our days. These are the ways we remember. We remember.
Renee, I'm going to pick on you just for a minute and ask you if you could speak about that wonderful man who died this week. Unfortunately, with my computer dying, I didn't have the opportunity, but some of you may have heard that one of the chief prosecutors of Nuremberg died this week. You can use that mic, this one, wherever you're comfortable, just to say a few words, if you will.
Well,
It's working. Go ahead. It's working.
it is working?
Yes.
Well, his name was Ben Ferenc. Do people know that name at all? Oh, you do? Oh, so most people know about, and he just passed away this past Passover. He was 103 years old. And I thought we should just remember who he was. He was he was from Europe. I could read from my phone, but that's, I'll make it short. And he fought in World War II as a young man, and he followed George Patton's unit, the armored unit. And right after the war, he was assigned as an attorney. He came back as an attorney, and then he was assigned to the Nuremberg trials, and he was involved with that, and it was always a lawyer, but mainly for people like me, he was involved with restitution with the Germans, with the Claims Conference, what's called the Claims Conference for Material something or other, but we call it the Claims Conference. And it's very significant for survivors and for the State of Israel, because for the last 70 years, the Claims Conference has been negotiating with the German government, and Ben was one of these people until he passed away, negotiating for restitution. So to this day, so in Detroit, for example, we have several hundred survivors left who received restitution from the German government through the Claims Conference that he was so involved in. We get certain health benefits, and all through Jewish Family Service. And this happens all over where there are survivors, and especially in the State of Israel. The government is still helping financially the State of Israel. So I thought we should remember Ben
Thank you.
Ferenc. He was, I don't know what his connections were to Detroit. I always thought there were some, but I was told no. But one of our great heroes.
Thank you so much for doing that extemporaneously. And I appreciate you, and I think somebody else brought him to my attention too, maybe Michael or Howard, and I appreciate you all doing that as well. We're going to gently transition now, not out of the realm of memory, but to the realm of the memory of our loved ones, in addition to those whom we lost in the Shoah. Our thoughts now turn to all of those who are no longer with us, our own loved ones, of course, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked and whom we just remembered, and those of every people and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. We recall now our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have taken into our hearts with our own. On this Shabbat, we observe the yahrzeits of these members of our community and their loved ones, of Sheldon Bobrow, Gloria Burrow Ellis, Ben Gaber, Dora Glass, Jack Miller, Rita Miroff, Benjamin Jacob Roast, and Ben Stawicki. As we did earlier, for those who are ill, if you have a name that you're remembering tonight, a loved one or a friend, please share. Anybody over here? Anybody on this side that we missed? No? Yes, Beth?
Joseph's mother.
Joseph's mother, we continue to offer our condolences.
And also the
Thank you. I also want to remember those young people who were killed by gunshots, by gunfire again this week. And I want to add just one more name. We missed him. I intended to mention him last week. One of my favorite people of the arts, Meir Shalev, one of the greatest Israeli authors of all time. My first several books that I read in Hebrew were by him. May his memory also be a blessing. May all of those whom we have lost provide us with moments of sweet remembrance to help us to make our way through this world in their absence. In the memory of these, of the 6 million, and of all who have gone before us, I invite you, if you can do so comfortably, to please rise, as together we will recite a humanistic interpretation of Kaddish. Nit gadal v'nit gadash beruach ha'adam. Let us dignify and ennoble all people in the spirit of our shared humanity. Let us acclaim the preciousness of life. Let us show gratitude for life by approaching it with reverence. Let us embrace the whole world, even as we wrestle with its parts. Let us each in our own way take up our share in serving the world and seeking truth. May our commitment to life help us to strengthen the healing spirit and peace of mind. May justice and peace permeate and comfort the house of Israel and all those who dwell on earth. And let us say, Ken Yehi, may it be so. Please be seated. Well, we were going to actually, and we're still going to do the concluding song in just one moment. A few words about upcoming calendar events. Next week, the Society for Humanistic Judaism's board will be in town for the first time since the pandemic. It's always a beautiful occasion on a Friday night, but it's not quite as lovely if you guys aren't here. So I want to encourage you to come and to bring your friends and to get other members here as well. It will be worth it. We'll be hearing from Rabbi Mary Raskin, who's a dear woman, my colleague, an inspiration, a terrific speaker, and also happens to be the president, the outgoing president now, of the Society for Humanistic Judaism. On Saturday night, because SHJ is in town, they and their initiative, Jews for a Secular Democracy, which has grown into something really amazing throughout the whole country. There are a variety of chapters everywhere. There's one forming here, though those of you who know Nomi Joyrich may realize that she's been working for that organization. And because you may know she's not a member of our congregation, but of a Reformed temple, this is a pan-denominational effort. They are going to be holding a program, a national program here, that will also be Zoomed to the entire country, featuring two important speakers, Senator Rosemary Bear and Senator Jeremy Moss. It's not why he didn't come last week, and we will have him here on a Friday night in the future. But they will be speaking as part of this panel on what's happening in Michigan in religion state issues. And I think it'll be a fascinating discussion. It starts at 7 o'clock Saturday night next. That's April 28th, 29th, whatever it is. It's next Saturday night. I'm not so good with dates. And we will begin with a little Havdalah service to end Shabbat, which Joseph is going to graciously be part of. And I want to thank you for that too. I also want to thank Joseph. You guys don't realize it, but I missed the rehearsal because we were futzing around with all the tech. And, you know, he's not a Hebrew speaker, but can I just say thank you for getting all that in? The music was not easy, and some of it was new. And as always, you make our services so beautiful. And he makes music that I am not even partial to, I should say, very beautiful. And he will be doing that on May 7th at 3 p.m. with two of his colleagues. I'm going to get their names wrong, so I'm not going to remember. But it's
Nathaniel and Elliot.
Nathaniel and Elliot, even though I've done a lot of publicity for it, I forgot their names. Nathaniel and Elliot, who are a cellist and a violinist. And together with a piano, I learned this, make up a piano trio.
because the piano's the biggest. I don't know why, but that's what they call it, is a piano trio. I know that we don't have Vivace here anymore, but it doesn't matter sometimes, or on May 7th at least it won't, because we've got a world-class musician of our own joining with two of his world-class colleagues.
Thank you. And you know, it's very interesting because my teacher, my piano teacher, who I studied with at Oakland University, was Flavio Varani. You know the name because
Vivace
he was best friends with Rabbi Wine.
Well, I am so excited that we're doing this. I know some of you wanted classical music to come back, and we couldn't have a better musician bringing it to us. Joseph has been an unbelievably wonderful addition to our congregation. And then I just want to put in a plug, and I may get the date wrong, but I think it's the following Friday night, after that one even, after next Friday night, Pamela Aronson, who's a professor at Dearborn, who twice had her lecture here canceled due to, in one case, a family situation. In the other case, we had a big ice storm that night. And she's got an amazing presentation that's been featured on CNN, in major newspapers and magazines, about what the effects of the pandemic were on Gen Z. And I know you guys and I are both a little far away from Gen Z, but those are our grandchildren and some of our great-grandchildren, and they have had a time of it. And for us to, I think, better understand them, this is an opportunity. So please mark your calendar. Anyway, everything is in the newsletter. There's a lot more happening. So many new social efforts, so many new programs, thanks to our program committee and so forth. So keep watching that space. We will conclude with this. We'll go in, you can grab some food and stuff, and I gather, because I don't see Melanie in here, who, I don't know why I didn't think about this, because she's smarter than me, I guess, came up with the idea, we're going to watch this movie. It's visually not much anyway, because it was made for television a long time ago. But it is what we have now in the absence of really many living survivors. Most of our survivors were very young people at the time, and that generation that were there as adults and happened to survive, we only have recordings of them. I happen to know Gerda Weissman, Gerda Klein, because I met her at several programs, and I had the privilege of welcoming her. She was exhausted, but welcoming her, I looked it up because I had it all written down, in March 1996, just 2 days after she made that amazing speech during the Academy Awards. They were getting ready to play her off, and they just stopped and reminded us just to tell our loved ones how much they mean to us. So I met her. She was as spectacular as she is in this movie. And her life story, of course, like so many, just happened to be one that survived. So anyway, grab some cake and so forth. We weren't going to do the cake and everything, but since we're out there anyway, go ahead and grab the cake, and we'll listen to the wisdom and the story of Gerda Weissman. And we will conclude now with this beautiful song, even though we're not actually going on our way, I hope.
In English, too.
In English, yes. It's Shalom, but you got that one. You're good on that.
May we know peace as we go on our way.
May
We be guided by love.
May
We be blessed with health and joy. May this be our blessing. Shalom. 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 May this be our blessing. Shalom. 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 May this be our blessing. Shalom. May we be sheltered by the wings of peace. May we abide in safety and in love.
May
Grace and compassion find their way to everyone. May this be our blessing. Shalom. 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 May this be be our blessing. Shalom. 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 May this be our blessing. Shalom.
Of course, thank you, Joseph. Thank you to all of you who participated, to Arthur for running the show, and to David Weeks, who streams for us every single week. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. We'll give you 5 minutes to grab something, and then we will put on the movie, so help yourselves.